I've been a Street Fighter fan since Street Fighter 2. I own a large number of Street Fighter games and I regularly watch tournaments and high-level competitive play, so you could say that I'm something of an enthusiast. So it hurts me to say that Street Fighter V, while brilliant, is also the most disappointing game in the series so far. Developed by Capcom in a partnership with Sony, it's the first numbered entry to be platform exclusive on console, which is a pretty big deal. In a smart move, it allows cross-platform online play with the PC, but unfortunately if you're on any other platform, you're out of luck. The events of Street Fighter V are set between the third and fourth games, but the story mode feels like an afterthought, and there isn't really much point in playing it other than earning XP and fight money. A cinematic story expansion is apparently coming as a free update in June, and this promises to flesh out the story significantly and be much more visually impressive. Outside of the lackluster story mode, there's only a handful of other activities to get stuck into. There's a survivor mode, a versus mode, a training mode which has seen some decent improvements such as the addition of a recording option, and online where you're likely to spend most of your time. Without an arcade mode, or the ability to fight the CPU in matches that last more than one round, there are a few options for new players to gain valuable experience before jumping online. This is the first time in the almost 30-year history of the franchise that a Street Fighter game hasn't shipped with an arcade mode. For all the changes that have been made elsewhere to help bring in new players and level the playing field, this feels like a very short-sighted decision. It also puts the focus squarely on multiplayer and specifically online play, essentially making it online only. With online clearly the focus, it's also odd that the lobby system is so basic. Again, apparently in March a proper lobby system that has more options and allows multiple people to sit in it will be added, but for now it's pretty bare bones. Incidentally, March will also see the addition of challenges, trials, the shop, and the first DLC character, Alex, all of which will be free. In fact, all future character DLC will be free in a bid to keep the player base united. It's certainly a welcome strategy, although it doesn't prevent the game from being frustratingly low on content at launch. As with all new installments, the gameplay has been refined with new mechanics and tweaks to existing systems. The biggest change is the introduction of the V skills, which are unique for each character. To use your V skill, you'll need to fill up your V gauge, which can be done by using your character's V trigger. Once full, you can spend the meter and each character uses it in different ways. For example, Ryu can parry incoming attacks, while Birdie eats a snack and then throws the trash on the ground, creating an obstacle. They add a lot of variety to each match, and they make character matchup knowledge even more critical than before. Other notable changes from Street Fighter 4 is the removal of the focus attack, and that backdashing no longer has invulnerability. The idea with these changes is this will stop players being able to trap their opponents in a vortex, which was really common in Street Fighter 4. One of the most obvious things that long-time players will notice when they first jump in is the time it takes to link moves together. This has been dramatically increased, and should make the game more accessible to less experienced players. Don't worry though, there are still plenty of hard combos and links to master, and skilled players will still be able to find ways of punishing newbies. When playing online, if you choose ranked matches, you'll earn points towards your overall ranking, and both casual and ranked matches earn you fight money. Fight money will be used to spend on things like DLC characters and costumes when the store becomes available. According to Capcom, new characters will cost 100,000 in fight money, so it should be possible to earn enough points to unlock the first free DLC character by playing the story and survival modes with each character. Of course, you can spend real money to buy stuff from the store if grinding isn't your thing. Combat as a whole feels familiar but fresh at the same time, and definitely more intuitive than past titles. Mechanically, Street Fighter V feels solid, movement is smooth, characters feel unique, and attacks are quick. Landing a blow on your opponent has a tangible weight to it, and it feels great overall. Buttons can be mapped any way you like them, and there's excellent support for arcade sticks. Even PS3 sticks will work on the PS4, which is a huge plus. In terms of presentation, Street Fighter has never looked or sounded better. There are a few rough edges here and there, but in general it's a great looking game. Obviously, frame rate is everything in a fighting game, and apart from a few odd occasions, it maintains a solid 60 frames per second. Online is solid too. I did have a few random laggy matches, but most of the time it was flawless, and that's a big deal. Street Fighter 4 was such a mixed bag for me here in Australia. It was 50-50 whether you got a decent connection or not, and matches dropping out was a pretty common occurrence. It's bittersweet. On one hand, Street Fighter V is an excellent fighting game with finely tuned mechanics and systems, and on the other hand, there's simply not enough content here for a full price game. I understand the reason behind it with Capcom wanting to get it out for the start of the 2016 Pro Tour, but I don't think it's fair that the rest of us non-pro players should pay the price, quite literally. Okay, so lots of content has been promised post-launch and it all sounds pretty great, and I'm definitely not complaining that so much of it is free. But until it actually exists, it's nothing more than vaporware. What if some Chinese investment company buys out Capcom and decides to cancel game development to focus on pachinko machines? You can't say that hasn't happened before. With so little to do, it's hard to recommend this game to anyone other than seasoned vets or pro players who are looking purely at online battles. If you don't fall into that group, then you'll probably want to look elsewhere for your fighting game fix, or at least wait until after June when many of the missing modes and features will have been added. I'm hoping by that point with all the additional features that it feels like a proper full price title, but at this point in time it just feels rushed and it's definitely not worth the full price of admission.